Hi, welcome, I'm Hannah, and I'm so excited because I just got my Menagerie Cosmetics and Annette's Makeup Corner Serenity Palette in the mail. Are there any other Seinfeld fans? Because I keep on wanting to say Serenity now.
Serenity now, insanity later.
Just me? This is so cool and exciting because I've been following Annette on Instagram since the very beginning. I actually commented on her very first post because I was so excited to find another colorful makeup Instagrammer, and it's been really cool to see her journey from her very first Instagram post to having a collaboration with one of my favorite indie brands. That's so cool. So Annette, if you're watching this, congrats, that's awesome. Here's the palette. She's a beaut. In this video, I'm going to swatch the shimmers on my eyes because she had said in her announcement video that there's a slightly different formula than the other Menagerie shimmers. So we'll have to find out what that means. I'm also going to do this eye look here, kind of a simple one, and swatch all of them on my arm, and I have a couple Menagerie comparisons to do. So we have like a little bit of a mishmash here. I'm also gonna do another video where I do a couple looks with this palette. If you're interested in that idea, please subscribe and stick around, and that'll be up soon. I think that's everything for now. Let's get into those eye swatches. I already know it's going to be so good because I love their formula. They are so consistent, and she loves colorful makeup. I love colorful makeup. The first one is Tranquil. It's like a shimmery light blue. It's probably the color that I'm most excited about in this palette. I don't have any primer on my eyes, but I do have a little bit of concealer. I think she had mentioned that this one's more of a topper, and I can tell in the swatch that it does feel a little bit less full pigment. This is pretty. Yeah, it's definitely really frosty, and it does come up like a little bit sheer. Like, I see what she means with it being a topper, but I still think it does kind of like pack a punch on the eye. I think it's also going to make like a really good inner corner shadow, and I love using this kind of blue shimmery tone in my inner corner. So yeah, this is Tranquil. Next is Evolution. This one looks like a shimmery olive. I love this color, and I can tell it's more of like a full pigment. It definitely does feel like a different formula than their other shadows. And it's funny because like I don't know how to put it into words. I really like the color, and it is shiny enough for me, but I feel like their other ones are kind of like thicker than these, which usually the thicker ones kind of are my preference. But because this still has that like reflectiveness, that sheen, that pop, that pigment, I don't have anything bad to say about this. You know, I feel like I kind of associate this formula more with something that like it feels like a satin, and I feel like I associate the satin with not having the type of shine that I like, but this is still really shiny. I really like this green also. I feel like I have, like, it's kind of like limey and olivey at the same time, and I don't know if I have those colors together in any other single shadow. The next shimmer is Monarch, this orange. And this is probably the one, I mean, this is in my top of ones I'm excited about. There's also like this hot pink I'm really excited to have, but I feel like maybe these three were the ones that I was the most excited about. I love like a bold, bright orange. So let's see how it goes on. That green did stain my finger. She mentioned the staining. Staining's not usually a big deal for me. These Menagerie ones do tend to stain quite a bit compared to other shadows that I have that stain. But that's fine. The green finger makes me mysterious. Like, where was it? What was it doing? Look how pretty. I love it. I love how bold that is. Wow. I really like this new formula. I feel like people that think that the Menagerie formula is too kind of like foily and thick will really like this. And then also me that kind of likes that but really needs the like shimmer and shine, it's good for me too. This is really pretty. Next up is Sunbeam. This one's probably lower on my list of shadows I was excited about because I already have a shimmery yellow from Menagerie, but I'm gonna compare those on my hand a little bit later, so I guess we'll find out what the tea is. I just started saying tea ironically, and I don't know how I feel about myself anymore. That's really pretty also. Wow, I like that. I really like that. I'm gonna predict that this is more of like a true yellow, or it's even kind of like a green leaning yellow. And I think that the other one I have from Menagerie is more kind of like a golden yellow. That's really pretty. It's bold, pigmented. I like it. So the next two, I think it's Chrysalis and Morpho. I think these are definitely going to stain my eyes. I'm not always the biggest on deeper shimmers. I tend to like mid to deep mattes and lighter shimmers, but I could also definitely see myself doing like a really pretty colorful look with like a really deep crease and one of these. So Chrysalis, this color is really pretty. It's kind of like a pink leaning purple. I kind of can't believe how much like shine and pigment these have. Like the way they go on, it feels like they're going on so smoothly that like I'd pick my finger up and there would be barely anything there. These really pack a punch. Oh yeah, I'm definitely doing a look with this in the forefront. It's really pretty. I feel like I have a similar shade to this from Colourpop, but it's definitely not as bright as this one is. And then for Morpho, it kind of looks less reflective on my finger than the other ones did. Maybe not. Let's see. Yeah, it might just be my shade preference, but I think this one wows me the least of any of the other shimmers. Like I feel like this one reflects the light. This one even kind of has like a little bit of like a bronzy reflect to it. And this one kind of has a greeny reflect actually. So maybe just my taste. I'm not as crazy about this one. It feels less special to me, but it's still a pretty color. And I can imagine myself kind of like deepening up a blue look with this in the outer corner or something, or even using this on the outskirts for a halo eye with that light blue. I'm giving myself ideas already. I feel like it's a really good sign when I just start touching a palette and I already have lots of ideas for looks I could do with it. Because in a way, that was my first thought when I saw this. I tend nowadays to like palettes that have like some neutral tones or some kind of like unique neutral tones. And this one's definitely an all colorful palette, but there's still a lot to be done with this and just this. So that's pretty exciting. I'll be back in a second. My eyes are so pissed at me right now because I've already removed eyeshadow 4 times today. But I want to do like a really simple look. I have a date night with my boyfriend today. We're going to Monster Mini Golf and out to dinner, and I want to do something that I think will make me feel pretty. Sometimes like I don't always do makeup to feel pretty. Sometimes doing crazy looks does make me feel pretty, but it's like a little bit more of a gamble. So I want to try to do something a little more subtle as I'm holding like a super colorful palette. And I'm gonna try to be gentle with my eyes because they are pissed. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with Metamorphosis, which is this really pretty lavender. Annette was saying in her video that she liked the shadow because it could kind of tie in with the blues, but it also ties in the purples. And I totally agree, and I think it's super pretty. So I'm gonna use this on the inner half. There's like a little bit of kick up, nothing too bad. I've said before that I like that Menagerie mattes are very pigmented. I don't mind if they have like a little bit of kick up because they really stay true to pigment once you blend them and everything. That is gorgeous. I feel like my eyes just look icky right now, and I'm sorry. Okay, and then I'm going to use Fluttery, which I've been really excited for because I don't have a hot pink matte in my collection somehow. I'm going to use this just on the outer half. Really pretty. That was really easy. There's like a little bit of fallout, but that's fine. That's why I tend to do my eyeshadow before my base anyway. Cool. I think I'll do more complicated looks like when I actually do looks with this. Just a little date night look today.
What we do here is go back.
Oh no, my eye's watering. Ugh. We're just gonna ignore that, all right? Let me put on my base. Okay, so for the inner corner, I'm really excited to use that topper shade, Tranquil, of course. I didn't even realize I'm just like using my favorite shades in the palette, or the ones I was like most excited for, but I guess that makes sense. So pretty. Yeah, I feel like it has the perfect amount of pigment to kind of like blend in there, you know, like it like definitely stands out, but it doesn't seem to have like a harsh line around it, which I notice sometimes when I use like an actual color in my inner corner. Love that. Love that. I love this look so far. I'm so into this. And then for my lash line, I think I'm gonna play it safe. Sorry, at first I was like, maybe I'll do like the deeper purple and the hot pink, but since I'm wearing this out, I don't really want to risk it, but I definitely will do that video. I know I kind of asked before, but I think I definitely will do the video where I make a couple looks with this, and they'll definitely kind of like go more out there. Especially because today, there's no way I can remove this eye makeup and do it again, because my eyes will like, they'll go on strike. Like they will leave my face, and I'll be really bad at mini golf because I won't be able to see. Love it. Gonna put on my mascara and lips and everything. I'll be right back. I'm going to swatch out this palette. I guess we'll just kind of move kind of quickly because I find their matte formula to be really consistent. We already talked about the shimmers. If I have anything exciting to say, then I'll say it, but I don't know if I will.
Ryan Little.
Yoga.
If these haven't been in focus, I'ma be pissed. I'ma call your manager. I have no idea if any of that was in focus. So here's me trying again. How's that? Is that why people have backdrops? That just that just occurred to me. Well, the palette, it looks gorgeous. It really does. All of the colors look like true to pigment, good. There was nothing that was like particularly rocky or anything. They're all kind of that same like soft feeling that I expect and know and love from Menagerie. So the only other full palette I have from Menagerie is the Flight Club palette. The Flight Club palette. The only other palette I have from Menagerie is the Flight Club palette. And this one I did a video on when it came out a couple weeks ago, I feel like it was. Maybe it was like more like a month ago. And I feel like there's not really overlap here. You could see together that like they both, I mean, alright, I guess I'll swatch this one and this one, but the purples are very different. This purple is way more cool toned and these are very like warm pinky purples. But I will swatch, I guess I'll start with Menagerie, or with the new one, Chrysalis and After Dark. So this is Chrysalis from the Serenity Palette, and this is After Dark from the Flight Club palette. Okay, swatched out, they are quite different. Maybe not quite different, but they are different. This one has more of like a berry pink undertone, and this one does have more of like a cool reflect to it. So they are similar, but they're not dupes. This is my Menagerie single shadow collection, and these are the ones that I separated because they're the ones that could be kind of similar to ones in the Serenity palette. So I'm going to first swatch the yellows. We have Sunbeam from the Serenity palette and Firefly single. Look at my fingers. Okay, we have Sunbeam from Serenity and then Firefly. You know, I can tell with the formula that the newer one, Sunbeam, is a little bit more of like a slippy formula, and you know, I guess that's the point, but I think color-wise, they're really similar. Yeah, I think if anything, this is a little bit more golden, but I think that's like really nitpicky because I think they're really similar. Hopefully this is helpful also because I know that Menagerie usually releases all of the palette shadows as singles like a couple weeks or months later. So if you're planning on just picking up a couple, then this could be helpful for that. I'm also excited, just side note, all of Menagerie's palettes are always magnetic. So it's really cool that I probably will end up taking these out and then mixing them in with my single shadows because that's generally how I like to do my makeup nowadays. So these two purple singles I have, I believe they're both from the Violet Ink palette, which I believe is no longer sold. but I know a lot of people probably have it. So we're going to compare Metamorphosis, which is that pretty periwinkle that I have on my inner half of my lid, with Jellyfish. So this is Metamorphosis from Serenity and Jellyfish. So Metamorphosis is a little bit more of that cornflower blue, I think they call it, and Jellyfish is definitely more purple, but I think they are really similar and probably provide a really similar effect on the eyes, but they're not the same. The next similarity is Anew, which is this cool deep purple matte from the Serenity palette, and I'm going to compare that to Octopi. So this is Anew and Octopi. So I think if anything here, Octopi is a little bit more blue. Yeah, I think this one's a little bit more of like a royal purple, maybe even a little bit deeper, and the Octopi is a little bit more of like a blue-based purple. Interesting. My eye is watering. I'm like melting. I'm falling apart. Next up, I don't know if these are that close, but I'm going to compare Imago, I think it's called, this blue here, with Dive Single Shadow. And also I just want to note that a lot of the single shadows that I have are probably ones that were in a Menagerie palette. So if you have Menagerie palettes, like don't think of these as being like a complete separate entity. Like these are probably all from different palettes they've had over the years. Okay, this is Imago and this is Dive. Yeah, Dive is definitely brighter. Imago is kind of more of like a deep sea blue, and this is like a like a light sea blue. But they are a similar gist. But yeah, I'd probably would characterize this one as being more of a mid-tone, and this I would probably characterize as like just sneaking into the more like darker shadow category. Okay, so the next two, I'm not really sure how they line up, so I'm just going to swatch 2 and 2. I have Luna is the lighter green here, and Cocoon is a deeper green. They're both kind of like in the olive family. I'd say this is like a lighter olive and this is a deeper olive. I think that they're going to pair like really well together. And then I also have 2 green singles that are similar, but I don't know if any of them are going to exactly line up. But the lighter one, kind of like a limier in a way, is Eel-lectric. And then the darker one is Kelp. So we have Luna and Cocoon. Those are the new ones from the Serenity palette. And then the older ones, sorry about my cat scratch, are Eel-lectric and Kelp. Yeah, so I'd say if anything, Kelp is kind of like the tone in between them, and Eel-lectric is definitely more lime. So I think these 4 are quite distinct. And I'd say like these 2 blues are pretty distinct also, but these ones up here are all like really similar. I will say though, I feel like for almost all of them, I prefer the Serenity one. Like this one's like a little bit brighter and more berry, and I really like this one over this one. These, I don't know. These are pretty similar, I can't really decide. These, I feel like this one's like a little bit more unique in my collection, and I really like how it looks on my eyes, even though, I'm crying, my tears are eating it. And these are really similar, but I do like this like more purple one. So I think that's every order of business I had for today, right? Yeah. I hope that this video was like informative. I'm definitely really excited to play with this more and make looks with it. I'm really inspired and it's gonna be a good time. Yeah. I wouldn't really call this like a review, but I will say I love Menagerie's formula, and these are pretty much on par, if not on, like, why don't I just speak in absolutes? These are on par with Menagerie's formula, with what I've come to expect. The shimmers are a little bit different, but they still pack the same punch, even though they feel kind of less substantial on the eye. And I'm really pleased with my purchase. Awesome job, Annette. And that's everything for today. Thank you so much for being here. If you liked this video, if you like indie makeup content, if you want to see more looks with this palette, and also more just indie makeup in general, and I also do like a lot of kind of like using what I have type of content, then please give me a like and subscribe. It would really mean a lot to me. And just thank you for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.